Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Usually a Friday, but today is Happy Thursday. Um, as you saw, we are getting ready to draw a gingerbread man. It's part three of my super thoughtful gifts to give to helpers series. So these are things that we're drawing that can be turned into gifts to give away to people that help you out in your life, like the babysitter, the delivery guy, your kid's teacher, things like that. If you're joining me for the first time, hi, I'm Nadawa from Paperflow Designs. I am a digital illustrator and I blog over at Paperflow Designs to help crafters like you learn how to draw SVGs and turn them into crafts with your Cricut machine or your Silhouette machine or any other cutting machine. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm just going to show you the tools that we're going to be using. I use Inkscape, and together with Inkscape, I do have an ebook that I have put together all the shortcuts that I use for Inkscape. So whether you use Mac or whether you use PC, all the keyboard and the mouse shortcuts are in this ebook, and that's what I'm going to be using in this tutorial here. So thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing? Let me know where you are watching me from. I see we have Felicia on. Good morning to you, Felicia. For me, it is afternoon, but good morning to you. Let me know if you are. I'm guessing you're up early then. All right, let us jump into make myself a little bit smaller so you can actually see what we're going to be doing here. So this gingerbread, like I said, is going to be using basic shapes just like I always do. And it's part three of the series. The part one was the apple, just drew like a basic apple. Um, yeah, and then part two, we transformed that apple like into a cartoon and then added a little buddy to him. So it gave him a little bookworm. And then I also explained to you different things that you can make using the apple to turn it into gifts for somebody. All right, so we're starting off with just a regular circle. All right, Felicia, you're in Illinois. All right, I bet it is kind of cold out there. I'm just guessing. I've only been like once to Chicago, and it was like 6:15 a.m. Ooh, you were up early. It was in January, so it was pretty cold. But it was for a good reason. It was for a graduation, so it was fun. So I've changed the color to this like caramelish color, this gingerbread man color. Just using the colors that are in the color menu at the bottom. So that's going to be for his head, and now I'm going to go ahead and make the next shapes for his body. So this square that I'm using is just going to be for like his torso. And if you have followed along with me before, you know I always mention that the colors that come up on my screen are just my default colors. Yours might be different, and either way, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to change it up. I'm going to position that square just about right below his head. And then I'm going to use a dropper tool that you just saw to change the color so it matches his head. It's cold here, but it's still moderate. I don't know, I think it's like if I convert it to Fahrenheit, it's like high 50s. I'm still like converting everything to Fahrenheit in my head, so even though we use Celsius over here. All right, so the next circle that we're using, I just pulled it out to make an oval shape for his left arm. And then I double click to get the nodes to be able to change that shape into what I want it to be. Christmas Eve is tomorrow. If you're watching this on the replay, it's probably not going to be tomorrow. But if you're watching this live with me, Christmas Eve is tomorrow, and I am still getting some things ready, but the major things are done. So Christmas tree, check. Got my fake tree. Yes. The gifts are wrapped. They're under the tree, and I'm happy because now my son is past that stage of like, you know, believing in Santa Claus, so we don't have to hide the gifts and then like, bring them out after Santa comes because that was like a whole thing. If you have kids and you know what I mean. If you have kids and you like, go along with the story of Santa Claus and stuff. And we did it for my daughters, we did it for my son too. And I just remember like every year of like thinking, okay, where are we gonna put the gifts? Where are we gonna hide them? And my husband would also dress up as Santa Claus. He did it like when the kids were like really little. I didn't think they were gonna fall for it. I'm like, they're gonna know it's you. Like they can tell they're gonna know it's you. But that's the thing about little kids that is just so special. Like they did not know it was him. It was really cute. I remember the year for my daughter. He came in and like we turned the lights down low so it wasn't too bright in the room. And she's like, "Oh, mom, look, look, look! Santa Claus is here. Where's Dad? Let's go get him. Let's go tell him that Santa Claus is here." It was so cute. It was so cute. All right, so I've just duplicated the arm and then I'm double clicking to get those rotation handles to move that up. And as you can see, see the little cross in there? There's like a little blue cross. I can move that, and that's just the pivot spot. So if I wanted to rotate from that spot, I just move the cross to where I want it to rotate from. All right, so for the body here, I don't want to leave it so much a square-ish. I want to kind of bring in that the nodes at the top. All right, I'm going to use the arm again to make the legs. And all I did here was just to duplicate it. You probably didn't see that I duplicated it because, like I said, I like to use the shortcuts in Inkscape, but I just duplicated it. And the shortcut for that is just Control D. So once again, I'm going to double click to get the nodes so that I can change the size of the shape of the leg because I want it to be a little bit larger than the arms. I decided to come on here today because, like I said, Christmas Eve is tomorrow, and I figured I'm probably not gonna have time, and you guys probably aren't gonna have time either. You're probably gonna be celebrating with your family and not really have time to watch a tutorial. So I figured let me jump on here today and give you this little last minute draw with me session before Christmas holidays. 'Cause I know there's some people out there that are like, okay, I'm still looking for like maybe some last minute, not necessarily maybe a gift, but something maybe a little thoughtful that you can add to a gift that you're already going to give that has a little personal touch. And this gingerbread man, I think it took me about less than 20 minutes to put this together. So it's something that you can do last minute if that is your situation and you're still looking for last minute ideas like those what is it called like at work when you do Secret Santa, that's what it is. Secret Santa, when they put like a cap on how much you can spend. I think like back when I used to work in New York, it was like I don't know, I had an office job there and it was like $10 I think. I'm like it's kind of hard to find a gift for $10 that somebody's gonna like. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But for me it was always like difficult. It was a little bit of a headache to think, okay, what am I gonna buy for somebody that's, less than $10, but they're gonna like, but that's not a gift card because I mean that's I think a lot of times I ended up going the gift card route just because it was easier and I figured They can just buy something that they like. But what are they gonna buy for $10 even with a gift card? They can add it to it, I guess. I've just changed the body color here so you can see how I am adjusting the body in the middle. Once I've gotten it to where I like the way that it looks, I'll change it back to the color of the gingerbread man. So just using the dropper tool. There we go. So we've got pretty much the basic uh the basic shape of him going, and we've used what so far? We've used one, two, three, four circles. And actually, I would say we only used two circles because I duplicated the other parts of him. Two circles and a square so far. So now once I have grouped the legs with the body, I can elongate the legs to where I think it looks a little bit more anatomically correct. I mean, he's a gingerbread man, he's a made up thing. He doesn't really have, but something, you know what I mean. Oh, speaking of anatomy and things that are anatomically correct, my daughter showed me some, I think it was a TikTok post or I don't know, because she's like on TikTok and Snapchat. But apparently someone like made a gingerbread man and called it a gingerbread person. And people are like all up in their feelings about that. And at first she showed me the post and I didn't get it. I was like, okay, yeah, it's a gingerbread man. It's a gingerbread person. I don't get it. She was like, oh, mom, but look, it says gingerbread person. And look at what, some of these people responded. And I'm like, people have like way, way, way too much time on their hands. Like, why are you getting upset about a gingerbread man or a gingerbread person or whatever somebody wants to call him? But hey, you can do what they want to do. I think that's probably why I stay away from a lot of social media that is like messy. 'Cause that's just not my thing. So you'll see that I had put in the title here, gingerbread man, gingerbread person. I'm like, hey, whatever you want to call him is fine with me. I mean, I grew up with it always being a gingerbread man, but I'm not afraid of change. We can evolve. We can, adapt. And I was gonna make like a gingerbread woman too, I guess, a man and a woman. I'm like, that would go a little bit over the times I like to do the draw and chat sessions. So I figured I'll just do the first one and call him gingerbread person. And so I'm just kind of like playing around with the body, with like the square, how I want the torso to look. 'Cause I don't want it too skinny. I don't want it like too blown up either. I feel like I'm being like Goldilocks sometimes. Like I just want it just right. And if you have tried any of these, let me know if you did. And also, feel free to tag your drawing. I think I have the option available on Facebook that you can add your drawing or tag yourself to the post because I do like to see what you guys are making. I've seen some really incredible things in the past where like once I had a lady send me a picture of a cake that she made with one of my SVG designs, and I was just like blown away. It was like a three-tier cake, and she had just taken um, that design and like put it on the cake, but then like added more to it, like with the hair, with the frosting, and all that stuff. So yeah, it was really impressive. All right, so here I am just grouping and combining all of the body parts. So the head, the two arms, the legs, and and the torso together because I have the body done and I'm going to start going ahead and decorating him or adding the other parts of him, like his eyes, his smile, and the buttons. So that's why I have duplicated the circle that you see on the right, because I'm going to use that to make all the things that I just mentioned. And take that circle. So now you see, like, I've just moved that. Everything else was combined. I'm going to take that circle. I'm going to shrink it down. Change the color to white, just using the colors from the menu bar on the bottom. And then shrink that down a little bit. And to shrink it, I just use the arrow keys when they're straight and pull it inwards. So we got the first eye. And the second one. And we're still going to use this eye, well, the circle that we use for the eye to make the buttons. The kids are home on Christmas break. I'm guessing pretty much the same story for everyone everywhere right now. And I am just trying to find things to like busy them. Well, no, that's not really true. They're finding things themselves to busy themselves because they're not little kids anymore. Like, yeah, 15 and 9, so they're old enough to entertain themselves. But I did have to tell them, like, mom's doing a video. Don't get loud. Please don't make a lot of noise. And they're good about that. All right, so now we've got the 3 buttons and the 2 eyes. And the next step is to make mouth. And we're still going to use a circle for that. Yes. I'm going to double click to get the node so that we can change the shape and turn it into a smile. I'll just pull out the corners. This takes a little bit more patience than the eyes and the buttons because that was just, a circle and we just changed the color and duplicated that and then made them smaller. This one, it's just a little bit more manipulation with the nodes to pull down the middle, pull up the corners, and turn it into a smile that kind of looks even. But I don't want it to be perfectly even. Like if you have followed me on any of these tutorials before, you know that I like when the drawing looks a little bit organic. So for me, that means that it doesn't have to be completely even, like the right side and the left side. We do want it somewhat even, obviously, but it doesn't have to be perfect because if you're drawing something by hand, it's not going to be perfectly even unless you're using like, you know, rulers and things like that. And that's not the kind of look that I want to go for. So I wanted to have like, a little touch of like a little bit of originality or something with some of the elements. Because with SVG, sometimes it's hard to do that because they are graphic designs, and that can tend to be, especially since we're also using shapes to make them, that can tend to be like really rigid and there's not like a lot of room for what's the word, like being loose and free and having softer thinking of the word, but just making it look more organic. So like I do things like this, like where I'll add like an additional node, or take away some nodes to not make it so even and matchy all the time. And even if, I mean, if you are a fan of like everything has to be even and perfect, That's fine too. And I did show a tutorial to show you how to use the Symmetry tool in Inkscape. So there is a tool where you can get things like absolutely 100% symmetrical, if that's your thing. But I showed you a way that you can incorporate that. So even though I do use the Symmetry tool, sometimes I still find ways to like add that in and then take away some other elements to get it to be that, that handmade feel that I like. So, I've just given you those two options you have. You can either use the Symmetry tool and have it, like for example, you can draw like just half of this gingerbread man and use the Symmetry tool to make the other half. So everything will be perfectly even if that's what you like. All right, so I like the way the smile is looking, evening that up. And I like to work with everything in the same layer. So I'm doing everything here on one layer. I know a lot of people don't do that. And that's what works for me. And you can still do the same drawing using different layers. It's just you'll have to go down to the bottom menu where the layers are, or open up the layers menu on the right side. So there's like a layers panel if you're using the different layers that you can open up. Here I'm just going to using the align and distribute menu to straighten up the eyes and the buttons as well. So I will align that on the vertical axis. All right, so our gingerbread man is coming together. He's got all of his like, his facial features. We've got that. Now we're gonna decorate him. We'll give him like some little like cuffs on his arms and like some little pant cuffs as well using the smile. So little tricks that I like to use, I like to use shapes that I already have existing shapes and use them more than once in my design. I find that that saves time, um, saves me sometimes a headache because sometimes I'll go and I'll be like, oh, let me be fancy. Let me use like, another tool. And then it's like I've gone ahead and added 20 minutes to a design that I was making because, I just wanted to try out something new. Sometimes that's fine. Sometimes I'm in the mood to try out new things. But let's say, for example, you have like a client project that you're trying to do. Because I know some of you do things for customers. You might not have an extra, 30, 40, 1 hour to just play around with things. So I suggest, just going ahead, using what you know in the moment, and then like save that creative time for playing around when it's like, a personal project. So I'm just using the smile design that we made and duplicating it and then changing the shape of it, changing the length of it. Because I want to make like a little curvy cuff for him, like a sleeve cuff. And I ended up moving the gingerbread man because, like I mentioned, I work with everything in one layer. But it's okay because I can just hit undo and hit Control Z to put him back right where he was. Once I have the full cuff, I'll go ahead and um, combine the shapes. So I'm clicking on each individual piece. You can see that there's still, I've got about, what is that, one, two, three, four different segments that I'm going to combine together. All right, I got that combined, and I can duplicate it for the other side. All right, let's zoom in here and take out some of the extra nodes that I don't need. Because one thing you don't want, especially if you're going to use this in Cricut or whatever cutting machine, you don't want a whole bunch of extra nodes hanging out on your design that's just probably going to give you issues when you go ahead and upload it to Cricut. So if you can go ahead and get rid of them at this stage, at the design stage, when you're making the SVG, it's just going to be better for you. If you are like a complete beginner and you're thinking, okay, this is really advanced for me, I don't know, I can't follow along with this. I do have a course, a beginner's course to learn how to make your own SVGs. It's called So Simple SVG, and I have that on my website at paperflowdesigns.com. You can go and check that out. There might be a link to it here. See if that is something that you're interested in. Basically, there I go through really step by step. Like this is just like a draw and chat with me session, so I'm not going through every single step. And the course lessons, there's like 5 modules in there, and in each step we'll go through like even from basic stuff like how you start up Inkscape, how you upload designs to that, how you can make your individual designs, how you can use all of the tools, learn the tools in Inkscape, how you can save them as SVGs, and then how you can eventually upload them to Cricut. So if that is something you're interested in, I do have a course on that. All right, so I am just duplicating that again. I'm going to move that over to the right side. So we've got the beginning for his next cuff. If you have been enjoying this series, if you like it, please feel free to share it with another crafty friend of yours or someone else you know who is interested. Maybe you know someone who's never started drawing yet and they want to get into making SVGs. Go ahead and share this with them. I think they will really appreciate you for that. And let them know that I do come on here usually every Friday to share a tutorial with you, but this week it is on a Thursday instead. All right, so now we can make his little pant cuffs. Still using the same element that we did for the top part for the arms. And here I'm just going to drag it out to pull it out to, um, meet the two ends. There we go. And then I can duplicate that one. Flip it over. Or just use the shortcut to flip it over, which is just the H key on the keyboard. And I can drag it over to the right side. So you can kind of see how it looks like a little cookie icing when if you're baking a gingerbread man. And even though this is like, um, a vector design, which is usually, like I said, like really rigid, standard, like, lines and curves, we can still use them in a way where it looks fluid, it looks more hand drawn. I'm just zooming out here a little bit to show you what we have so far. We've got Gingerbread Man, he's got his eyes, his mouth, his buttons, first set of cuffs, and now we're going to make a little bow tie for him. This is using the stars and triangles tool. Once again, mine is green, but we're going to change the color. So it's fine. Oh no, I'm not going to change the color on this one. I did want it green. What am I saying? So once I have that triangle, I've converted it over to a path because otherwise it's going to stay as a shape. And if I'm going to use that in a cutting machine, I don't want it to stay as a shape. I want to convert it to a path first. And I'm just going to pull out the edges to round it out a little bit to make his bow tie. I'll shrink that down. Still kind of big. Make it a little bit smaller. Duplicated that and then slide over the other side to make the bow tie. Once I have those two, I can just combine those, make them into one shape. You can see now that they're one as I'm moving that around. All right, we are almost there, but I think I want to make his cuffs, I'm going to double up on them. And since you know I love a good shortcut, we're just going to duplicate what we already used to double his cuffs everywhere. So do the same thing on the other side. I will duplicate it again and move that over. Once again, it doesn't have to be perfectly spaced out because that is the look that we're actually going for, is something that's more, more hand-drawn. If I do want it like perfectly evenly spaced, I can use the control key while I'm moving the shape over, and that'll get it to be, evened out, perfectly spaced out. And I can also use the align and distribute menu to space those out evenly if I want to. I like the way that looks with the double on everything. Let me know what you think. All right, let's just change the color of his buttons, give him more of a Christmassy feel, make it red. And that is our gingerbread man. All right. I hope you liked that one. That is our gingerbread man done and dusted. If you get this done, like you've seen, what was it, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you can get this drawn out, load it up into your Cricut, print it out, and making like a holiday tag with it for someone, or even just a card that you want to slip a couple bills in. That's fine too. Um, Who else is here joining us? Lizzie, hello, good morning where you are. Let me know where you're watching me from. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me know if you are on your holiday shop and everything is done. I'm assuming you are because I know you guys, most of you crafters, you have done your stuff way in advance. Um, Virginia, oh, that's cool. I grew up in Maryland, so used to be your neighbor. All right, so this is the gingerbread man that we have done today. This is the last part of the what was I calling this one? Jog my memory. Uh, Super thoughtful gifts to give to helpers series. It was three parts in the series. The first one was an apple. And then the second one, we took that apple, transformed him like a little cartoonified him, gave him a little buddy, added a bookworm to him, which I thought would make a really cute gift to give to teachers. And then the third one today was this gingerbread man. What are you guys saying? You haven't done any shopping? Really, Lizzie? Are you planning on doing shopping? Are you like one of those people like you like, gear yourself up, pump yourself up, and okay, last day, we're going all out for the last day. I think I've done both, but now I'm just like an internet shopper, like all the way. Even though this year we went out a couple times to um to the shopping malls, and it was nice. It's pretty to see like the displays and all the lights and everything. So that part is really it's pretty. Okay, yeah, you're not in the mood for Christmas. I can understand that too. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, um, especially with everything that's been going on lately. This year we kind of keeping it low key. Like sometimes we travel, we go see my husband's family, and they are like a huge family. There's like 30 people at the table. But this year it's just me, the kids, because my husband's working, and I'm pretty much fine with that too. I don't mind changing it up. All right, guys, I do not want to make this too long for you, but I am going to wrap it up right now. Of course, I'm going to be on here again next week. So if you want to know what we're going to be drawing next week before everyone else, please, what was I going to say? Please sign up, be a part of my VIP group. And to do that, it's free. You can just go to paperflowdesigns.com. That is PAPERFLO designs with S at the end.com. And you can sign up there and you'll be getting emails from me letting you know when I'm coming on next, what we're going to be drawing next. That way you can prep yourself, get yourself ready. Even if you don't see it, you can always catch the replay. But if you get the email, you're going to know in advance what's going on and when that's going to happen. All right. If you are watching me on the replay anyway, if you have questions later, even if you're watching live and you have questions later, let me know. Feel free to drop them in the comment box. And I always have to come back and check to see what people have to say. And of course, if you did make a drawing, go ahead and tag me in it. I like to see that as well. And hopefully share that with other people so they can be inspired to make different things. Oh, what's Lizzie saying? I'm not traveling this year. You usually go to South Carolina or North Carolina for Christmas. Yes. Yeah, I think a lot of people are deciding not to travel this year. It's just kind of difficult. Like we just came back from our trip. We went to Ghana, and I've been waiting like a year for that trip because we're supposed to go in 2020. It didn't happen. I'm like 2021. We're going. I don't care what happens. We went, and it was a lot. Like getting through, the testing and testing here, testing there, and just like making sure nothing was going to be canceled. So I can understand why you're not in the mood to travel because it can be a headache too. All right, guys, let me wrap it up. I already said that before, but let me wrap it up now. We'll see what these kids are getting into, and I will see you next week. I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and being with me in these drawn chat sessions. I love being here. I love giving back to you and also getting your ideas. And hopefully, I will see you again next week. All right, bye.